guys, welcome back to the podcast. I've been meaning to watch that. I'm your host Monica, and we're back again with a new week, a new topic, and a new guest like we do every single week. And this week we have a very special guest with us today, and I'm gonna pass it off to her and allow her to introduce herself.
Thank you so much for having me. My name is Princess Weeks. I am a YouTuber, content creator, all of those words. I do it. And I'm also a huge history nerd. So I was excited to talk about this. And I don't know how much you're gonna like what I have to say, but I am here to give content back because it was an experience.
Yes, so thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited you're here. Huge fan of your work.
Oh,
And
thank you.
yes, and guys, today we're going to be talking about the Amazon hit show, which was unfortunately canceled after one season, My Lady Jane. It came out this year in June, and I'm very excited to talk about it with Princess and with you guys. But before we get into that, we're getting to our first segment, which is Media Mania, where we talk about new releases and entertainment news. And the first thing I wanted to discuss is the newest season of the Monster Anthology series that's on Netflix, produced by Ryan Murphy, created by Ryan Murphy. And it is centered around Ed Gein. He's a serial killer that was notable. He was very well known in like the 50s. And Charlie Hunnam is playing him. And this season was released Friday, October 3rd. And it was met with a lot of mixed reviews, a lot of them negative, if we're being honest. And
As it should be.
and as always, whenever one of these seasons of Monster is released, the main actor comes out and defends the project. Charlie Hunnam, he came out and he said he doesn't feel like they're sensationalizing anything in regards to Ed Gein's story. They feel like they're treating it with a lot of care. And also the producer of the show, who produced it alongside Ryan Murphy, Ian Brennan, he wrote this entire season and directed it, and he said that the show is always trying to not be exploitative. It's trying to actually show that you can pull back too much when you're telling a macabre story. It's important that you tell the whole story, even with the parts that are hard to watch. And I just want to say, I feel like when it comes to true crime, there's always some level of it being exploitative. So it's hard to handle any kind of story like this with care. And the thing about Ryan Murphy is that he is known for being a little camp, with some of his shows. But like we said before, Ryan Murphy has this habit of like softening problematic people's past to make them more palatable. And I did see on TikTok someone said that Ryan Murphy makes shows for like middle class America.
Oh, for sure.
He makes gay shows for middle class America. So I feel like the popularization of true crime in 2020 and with the rise of like true crime YouTubers obviously led to like the creation of this show. And now that we're in season 3 of this anthology, it feels like Ryan Murphy is a beast that we cannot stop. But
No.
at this point, I don't know if like I'm just going to ignore it or if someone needs to do something,
I mean, it's like he is the white Tyler Perry in that sense. And it's like, it's like, it gives a takeaway. Like, I felt like the Menendez brothers season, as much as I couldn't really stand to watch it, if I'm being honest, but I did appreciate that it made some people actually look back at the case, because in my opinion, there are just a lot of issues with the way like the public at large dealt with the idea of like these two young men having alleged that they were molested by their parent. And also just a lot of misinformation people don't know about, like that there were 2 trials and all this kind of stuff. Like, I think that there is a avenue in which these narratives can be helpful. But I think the thing with like the Jeffrey Dahmer one and with Ed Gein is that like these are like the top tier serial killers, if we were to use a weird way of phrasing it. It's like, if you are in the true crime world, you know who Ed Gein is, you know who Jeffrey Dahmer is. It's like, you know who Charles Manson is. Like, at a certain point, like, what are you adding to the conversation that a well-researched, like 96-minute documentary couldn't do? And I feel like, next season's going to be Lizzie Borden, so we're finally getting a woman. But I'm also just like, there's just so much ambiguity with that case anyway. Like, I just don't trust his vision.
I agree. And
he's a charlatan.
I also find it very disheartening and annoying that the co-creator, Ian Brennan, was trying to frame the Ed Gein story as a story about mental illness, because that gets so... It's obviously very, like, okay, like, yeah, if he had a mental illness, okay, he had a mental illness. But framing it in the brackets of, oh, it's a story about mental illness. Like, there are plenty of people who have a mental illness that do not become a serial killer. There are plenty of people who have a mental illness that do not, dig up people's bodies and desecrate the dead. Like, there are plenty of people who have mental illness and live perfectly normal lives. So taking this immoral, terrible human being and trying to kind of soften his past by being like, oh, well, it's not his fault he was killing people. He had undiagnosed schizophrenia. Like, we're trying to excuse his actions and make it seem like he's just a misunderstood individual and not a monster that he is. Because it's ironic to title the show Monster and yet frame the monster in a light where he doesn't seem like so much of a monster. Because when you have, like, Dahmer with, what's his name? The white boy who acted in Dahmer, I was just thinking about him today.
Quicksilver. Evan Peters?
Evan Peters. When you have Evan Peters, tanned, built, abs glistening, dancing in like a thirst trap way and having people being like, oh my gosh, Evan Peters is so hot, while he is killing, dismembering, and holding people's bodies in this fictionalized show about a real person, real things that he did, it doesn't make, it's not in black and white, it's very gray. So how are people supposed to view, not Ted Bundy, Dahmer? How are people supposed to view Dahmer as a bad person if first you're over-sexualizing him, then you're bringing up his childhood, then you're bringing up his mental illness, and then you're bringing up the fact that, like, oh, he's gay, he just wants a friend. He just wants to date somebody. He's just so sad. He can't help it. Like,
it's really, like, pathologizing the sad white man, and I think that's kind of the big issue with true crime at a certain point, is that it all becomes very exploitative and everyone wants a narrative more than anything else, which doesn't accept the fact that like policing is complicated when it comes to serial killers. Like most of those crimes only get solved because there's a lot of bodies and not because like anyone is really doing like excellent police work in a lot of these cases. I mean, just recently with the Austin yogurt shop murders, they found a really big break in that case and they've identified one of the DNA samples, but it's someone who was not connected to the crimes at all. And so they like had like these men went to jail for like 10 years. The family's been conflicted for all this time. And then the person who, committed part of this heinous crime is dead. And so it's like, those are the issues that when you want to make everything a spectacle, but you're not really investing in the things that would make it easier. Like it's the DNA research, it's making sure that everyone knows the procedure. Like those are the things that those are the things that allow crimes to be solved, not just like making spank bank material of like Richard Speck. Like,
yeah. And another thing with true crime is that it turns people into like everyday detectives. People want to go online and try to figure it out if they can like, solve the case on their own. And it reminded me of this documentary on Netflix about this hotel in Los Angeles. I forget the name of the hotel.
Oh, the one where there's like a bunch of mysterious deaths are in it. It's like one of those old, I know what you're talking about. Like it's on like Skid Row Hotel, one of those.
Yeah. And the documentary, well, the first episode is like, obviously the setup, like this is the hotel, this is when it was built, these are the disappearances, the most notable disappearance, but then the rest of the documentary was just like YouTube sleuths, online sleuths, giving their side of the story and like giving their perspective. And that's something that I find very annoying about true crime, is that it doesn't feel like there is like a very strong line when we're saying like, this is fact, this is fiction. This person is wrong. They did something terrible. They're immoral. Or, oh, this person's misunderstood. Like, we just need to try and, like, see their side of the story. And it's the same thing with that Unknown Catfish documentary that came out recently, where, this young girl is dating this, young boy. They're both like 13 or 14. And they start getting these texts out of nowhere. And this little girl's getting these texts telling like, oh, you're so ugly. Your boyfriend doesn't like you. Your boyfriend likes me. He wants to be with me. Oh my gosh, you should, take your, like, you should unalive yourself. All these things. And then, spoilers if you didn't watch the documentary. But at the end of the documentary, this whole thing that like everybody at the school knows about because it's such a small town, and the FBI gets involved with it as well. They find out the
Crazy
person who's
work.
been doing the text the whole time is the mother. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I'm watching this documentary, they're not even like asking the mother any hard questions. They're not pressing her about anything. Like when she was like, "Oh, it wasn't me in the beginning, but I continued it because I wanted to
Yeah.
figure out what actually happened." And like
Yeah. Ridiculous.
if
I
I
was
was
just.
the if I was the producer, I'd be like, "Okay, so no one believes you. I know you're
hmm
lying. And you're also lying about having a job. You're lying about so
Right.
many other things to your family. So what's the truth? Like what's really going
Exactly.
on?"
It's like you're literally bullying and sexually harassing your own child.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, and then she's like crying about it. I'm like, you are alarming. You need to go to jail.
Also, she
Under
was
the jail.
sending sexually explicit texts to a
To
minor.
minor. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, listen, the way that people will use grooming as like a catch-all term, it's like this is one of the few the times where I'm like, this is absolutely what it should be
Mm,
noted as, because they were taking advantage of them, framing it in these like secrety kind of ways. It was just very disturbing.
mm-hmm.
And I
And
just, yeah.
yeah, it's gross because the little girl and little boy, like, I think their parents were all friends. And I can't imagine, like, being a parent and then, like, seeing my child go through that. And I'm the perpetrator.
Right.
Because there's something going on here. Like, there's something missing here. And she excused it by saying, like, oh, well, I was sexually abused when I was young, And I feel like it's just one of those things where a lot of parents nowadays are emotionally immature,
Mm-hmm.
with, like, boy moms, getting jealous of their son's
I
girlfriends.
yeah, wanting to live vicariously through like the younger generation is just like, girl, this is a Wendy's. Like you don't have
It's so, it's so sad to see it. But these same people that, you know, act this way, or like, they somehow like there's something missing in your head,
Oh
and
yeah.
and they'll still like sympathize with like serial killers.
Yeah,
And
and that's the big thing is like, and that's been an issue with sort of the genre from like even when you look at like what's his name, not Dahmer, the one that everyone thought was really attractive. I
Ted
forget his
Bundy.
Ted Bundy, and people would and like the girls who were like, he's got such beautiful eyes and da 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 da, and I'm like, white women really are, never beating the allegations, but
Mm,
beyond that, it just really shows the messiness embedded in all of this stuff.
yeah, that's very true. And me personally, I have not watched the Monster series before. Like, I'm one of those people where if I don't like something and I don't want to watch it, I'm watching someone else react to it.
Yeah.
And I have not seen any of my favorite reaction YouTubers touch that season of Monster. So I'm just assuming that nobody wants to watch it and nobody's interested in it.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I feel like when I saw season 3 being announced for the Monster Anthology series, and I saw that Charlie Hunnam was cast, like I said this off the mic, like this man is looking for that Golden Globe, and
Mm-hmm.
I get that like we want accolades and we want to be praised for our acting and our work. Like obviously, Sons of Anarchy was on FX for a very long time, very
Very
well
much.
reviewed. I don't know if he got anything from that show, but I've seen him in a lot of other stuff.
Yeah, he's talented. Like I
Yeah.
loved his little cameo that he made, not a cameo, but he was like a minor character in not Uncut Gems, Crimson Peak.
Okay.
And I liked him in what's that other thing he was in? With the robots. Pacific Rim.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of things that he's done that I'm like, you have a lot of talent, you're really interesting. But he's also like in that kind of in between space where he's like both handsome and then also like, but then seen as very like alpha male. So it's one of those things where it's like, who am I really? It's like, I
Yeah.
don't know, babe. I believe in you though.
Yeah. I think Charlie Hunnam is a very good actor. I think that
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood needs to like solidify him as a leading man in the same way
Mm-hmm.
they've done with Henry Cavill because I do think he is
Yeah.
more talented and more handsome than Henry Cavill, but for some reason like this man keeps getting casted and Charlie Hunnam keeps getting like these middling projects that he's in.
Yeah.
I feel like he just needs to stick with Guy Ritchie, and just wait till like one of those
Yes.
movies does really, really well, and then
Mm-hmm.
he can like hop onto like the DC train. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, like The Witcher, I think, was always going to be messy, but if there was anyone who would have been like a great Geralt replacement, like it would have been him. I mean, like, that I can be like, okay, different font, but same energy. And I'm like, okay, yeah. I can see the vision. I still don't think that the vision should be put out there, but I'm seeing it. I'm picking it up. But like, yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. And so is Monster. So is anything from Ryan Murphy's camp. And, anytime I see a new project being greenlit by Ryan Murphy, I just have to shake my head and just look away, because
I know
I just force myself to forget about it until I start seeing people talk about it on TikTok. Then I'm like, oh yeah, that man's still working.
That man stays employed.
Yeah,
inshallah.
You know what? There was actually a show he greenlit. I don't know what it's called, but it's this show where like an STD is a mark of beauty, and I remember reading that synopsis, and I was like, oh. That's very strange. And then I saw Jeremy Pope was casted it, and I was like, you know what? Let me reserve judgment, because he hasn't been booked in a while, and he deserves the booking.
He's some coin, yeah.
He deserves it. Like, Jeremy, there are a lot of good actors that end up casted in Ryan Murphy projects. That's the thing that sucks.
Yeah, that's why he is like the white Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry also, like, part of why he has the little bit of aplomb that he has is because he would cast all these really great Black actresses who were not getting any, like, getting their flowers. And it's just like, people will say, like, the first person that paid me the money I deserved was this evil man. And I'm just like, damn, this is why we can't ever be free. Because the one guy who's doing the work is the worst guy
This is why we need to fund more Black projects and give Black creatives, more of a chance, because we cannot have Taraji P. Henson keep picking out Tyler Murphy's calls. Like, I need her.
We need to be free.
That man. I need it to come to a point where she don't need him no more. Please.
That's what we're praying for. Always praying. Just praying for Taraji to get her due, because she is so talented. Like,
she is.
Multiple Oscar nominated actress. So, like, just give her some money, guys.
Literally, Hidden Figures was one of my favorite movies for so long. Like, I know it's not like, hey, it's not the best movie, but I love Hidden Figures. When I watched it when I was younger, I was like, this movie changed my life. Yeah. And then to see her in Why'd I Get Married Again? Again?
You're like, but why? Yeah. It's rough out there. And I think every time when she was doing the press tour for The Color Purple. No, for The Color Purple. And she was crying and talking about what she was going through. I'm like, yeah. and I'm like, this is why. Like, I try to have as much grace as possible, because I do realize that it's hard out here for a pimp. So
I get it. She left Empire, and then her team took all her money, and then she had
crazy to think that. It's crazy to think that, like, because, like, I don't think people understand how big Empire was.
It was
when
insane.
Empire was on.
Everybody was talking about that show.
That was like, she really won multiple awards.
Yes.
For playing that character. People loved Cookie Lion. Like, she was an icon.
Yes.
Yeah. She was like one of the most successful female anti-heroines on TV for like not an insignificant amount of time. So I'm just like, respect on her name.
Yes.
Princess who was promised, but please, enough.
It's also crazy because, like, Terrence Howard, such a good actor as Lucius Lyon, and then when Empire ended, he just, like, I don't know, kept on that chaotic route, and I was like, oh gosh, I love you, King. But Empire was such a good show for when it was on, because Lee Daniels, you put him, oh my gosh. Did you ever watch that Hollywood Roundtable he did? Hollywood Reporter Roundtable he did? He was at a Hollywood Reporter Roundtable. It was for TV writers, and he was just surrounded by other white writers. And he was talking about how, like, diversity is so important, and how, like, oftentimes he doesn't watch certain shows because, like, they're all white cast and they're just kind of boring.
Yeah, period.
And the writer from, I think it was, what was that show? That first Netflix show, the politics show.
House of Cards.
Yep. He was very impressed by what he said, and I was like, I mean, you're angry, but he's not wrong.
I mean, because
I also watched House of Cards, and he's not wrong.
Listen, and I love House of Cards back when, before it was hard to watch it anymore. But like, let's not be mad at correct opinions, because it was very Caucasian with a capital Ca.
Speaking of Caucasian, Ridley Scott says Hollywood is drowning in mediocrity, and he has been forced to watch his old films. Now,
that's hilarious.
Ridley Scott, he's the director of Gladiator and Blade Runner, and he made these comments reflecting on his career at the BFI South Bank in London on Sunday. And he said the quantity of movies that are made today, literally globally, millions, not thousands, millions, and most of it is shit, he said. He added that films are too often saved by digital effects because they haven't got a great thing on paper first. And asked if he has a go-to comfort movie, he said, well, actually, right now, I'm fighting mediocrity. We're drowning in mediocrity. So what I do is a horrible thing. I started watching my own movies, and actually, they're pretty good. And also, they don't age. I watched Black Hawk Down the other night. I thought, how in the hell did I manage to do that? Because occasionally, a good one will happen, and it's like a relief that there's someone out there who's doing a good movie. So, yeah,
I think that's hilarious. Honestly, I have issues with some things that Ridley Scott has said, because he has said some very dumb, like, I can't get this movie made with a guy named Muhammad stuff, and I'm just like, I never forget. That being said, his filmography does include a lot of hits and like of a lot of different variety. So him saying that, I'm just picturing him in his house watching Legend, just being like, man, I ate that up. Thelma and Louise, like, I did that shit. I was like, listen, I'm not mad at him for that. That shit is funny.
I'm not gonna lie. When I read that headline, there are times where you read a headline for an article and you're like, I don't need to read the article because this headline was not taken out of context. The articles actually give more context, and the context is right. So when I read the actual article, I was like, yeah, that seems like something he would say, because he just speaks off the dome. And me personally, I'm not a huge fan of white directors. And I never really consider myself a cinephile, because like, I feel like, I guess the average cinephile is a huge fan of like Nolan and Scorsese and like those kind of movies, and Ridley Scott is included as well. And although I've watched a lot of those films, and I can understand why people like those movies, including Tarantino. Like, I watched Tarantino films growing up, like Kill Bill, Inglourious Bastards, Django Unchained. I gave all those movies a chance, and although I see why people like those movies, and I see why they resonate with those movies, they're just not my cup of tea. And I once a TikTok said that, like, I feel like Ridley Scott's movies are mediocre, and it's just my personal taste, I feel like. And whenever I see people have the take of like, oh, all the movies out are bad, all movies are mediocre now, like, movies just suck now, like, Hollywood has run out of ideas, I roll my eyes, because even when there are blockbusters that come out every year that are reboots, that are prequels, that suck, that you can see that these people just did it for a bag, there are going to be hundreds of independent films that come out that are incredible, that are life-changing, that are unique, that are original. And sometimes people only see a original independent film if it's produced by A24 and possibly Neon, or if they cast a very big actor or actress to helm that movie. But me, myself, and I'm always going to try and watch independent movies, because even when people complain about, oh, all movies suck now, I'm just sitting in the back like, they actually don't. Movies are up. We've always been up. You guys are just watching the thing that everyone else is watching. I understand that, like, watching movies is a luxury. Not everyone has time to Google and research movies. Like, I get that, but
we love them.
Like, I love watching movies, and I'm fine with, watching an independent film. I'm fine driving 20 miles out to a theater that is like an hour away from me to go see an independent film, because I want to see something that's good. I want to see something that I will enjoy. And I'm not saying everybody has to do this.
Right. But it is a big thing. Yeah.
Movies don't suck. Like, it might be that the most popular movies kind of suck now, but like, they don't suck. Not even this year. Like, Sinners came out this year, and it was incredible.
Exactly. And I think like overall we've seen, especially with horror, has been having like a really good moment.
Yep.
And so I'm really excited to see like what comes next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm always excited about. Like, I just feel like there's plenty of stuff to pull from. We're gonna be okay. But I do just like the idea of Ridley Scott in a room, just like I'm so bored. I'm so bored. Put on Thelma and Louise. Like I just find that to be very humorous.
I mean, I feel like if I was a movie director, I would probably have the same sentiment. I'd be like, these girls can't touch me.
Right. It's a very like old Kanye kind of thing, like that meme of like him listening to 808 and Heartbeats, like, oh my God, I ate. Like I think of that all the time. I'm like, that's so funny.
Like I started 808s. Like no one was doing 808 beats until I stepped onto the scene.
Mm-hmm. Just really smelling yourself, just like, oh, I did that. I did that, absolutely, yes.
Mm-hmm. I remember I watched a clip from Kanye's first documentary, not the new one that he has out, but it was the first one where he was like making a beat and Tiana Taylor's like right beside him. And people were in the comments like, that's why Kanye's the best. That's why Kanye's the best. I'm like, he's beating on a table. We do that at lunchtime. What do you mean?
I know.
But if I had that many people around me telling me like, you're the best, you're the best, you're the best, I would probably
be a little delusional. Everyone would be a little bit delusional, and that's okay.
Sometimes you need that delusion though, to like believe in yourself, because I think it's better to like think that you're the shit and you're great rather than just being like, well, it's just okay, because I mean, Ridley Scott has been directing movies for many years, so
right, 1 billion,
yeah. Yes, Ridley Scott's over 1 billion years old.
Yeah, he's 87, so not that far off, girl. Like,
oh, he's 87.
Yeah, he's 87 whole years old. That man is old.
Oh my God. Wow, that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even know that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, all these directors are old.
Yeah, girl. Meryl Streep is in her late 70s.
Oh my gosh. Someone protect Meryl Streep, please.
Don't take any unnecessary journeys.
Meryl Streep, don't go to any second locations, please.
No, please, girl. You're too fine.
Girl.
Exactly.
Yes, take your time. Take your time. Okay. Well, guys, that's going to wrap up Media Mania. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive in. I haven't done it in a long time. We're going to go ahead and dive in to the meat and potatoes of the podcast, which is talking about My Lady Gein. For those who may or may not know, My Lady Gein is a new show that came out on Amazon Prime. It is a historical romance with a fantastical twist, and it is based off of a novel by the same name. And this show is centered around the real life 16th century English royal Lady Jane Grey, who ends up in an arranged marriage with Lord Guilford Dudley. Well, that's what happens in the show. And in the book, that's written by Jodie Meadows, Brody Ashton, and Cynthia Hand. And the show premiered on Amazon Prime in June, but news broke that the show was canceled in August. The official reason why the show was canceled, nobody knows. Maybe it was because of ratings, maybe because it didn't catch on with Prime viewers, whatever that means. But the show was given pretty positive reviews, some middling reviews, but overall it's kind of a fantastical twist on the story of Lady Jane Grey, because the real Lady Jane Grey was married and then beheaded after 9 days after she was married, right?
No, but essentially she was queen of England for like 9 days and then was later beheaded.
Right. So this show is a little bit of a twist where she doesn't get beheaded, and there are also this fantastical twist of the Ethians, which is a group of people who could change into animal forms and who are oppressed and outcast by the Verity, the normal humans that rule over everything and have bigoted opinions about their furry friends. So that's the basic synopsis of the show. It's also praised by George R.R. Martin because he really wanted the show to have a second season, which I kind of agree. I did enjoy the show when I was watching it. I'm not going to lie. I think it was definitely the second episode when they get married and she faints and then Dudley is looking down at her and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait. This is about to eat so hard because I've been looking for a romance and I'm looking for a slow burn. And sometimes I want a slow burn that I can see visually, not a slow burn that I'm reading. Okay, sometimes I gotta log off of AO3 and leave the library behind and see a slow burn in action. And this show, I have to say, was very good. In terms of the romance, it was very good. Some other parts of it, I can see why I got the middling reviews, but Princess, I wanted to get your take. What was your opinion of the show after you watched it? Like, what did you think about it? How did you feel about the show?
I feel so bad to say this, but this was one of the most agonizing things I've ever had to watch. And it's not because the show is bad, but the historical inaccuracies were literally killing me. Like and I like Rain. I'll defend Rain, but this was just like, and I know people are like, it says at the very beginning it's an alternative history, and I'm like, girl, like this alternative might as well just not be Lady Jane Grey. That's kind of the whole thing for me. Is like at every turn I'm like, why is she even here? Why is this not an original story with like a fictional kingdom with like a fictional stakes and like that? And like I don't understand why putting her, like, why choose to attach your story to a real historical person of whom we have some knowledge of who they were and what they stood for politically, and then like include like none of that in the adaptation. And I think like despite understanding why other people like, especially like the romance stuff for it, that was like the really big thing for me. And I just kind of feel like I enjoy Bridgerton for a degree. I don't really like the Buccaneers, but like I understand that period dramas do different things for different people, but I don't understand why there is this lack of seriousness around like female historical figures. Like the girly popification of like every single historical female ruler is like a little exhausting at this point, because it's like even at their state of being like consorts, these were like very serious women, and like women whose actions, whether it be passive or active, had real historical consequences. And it just feels like it was just so juvenile, and I couldn't appreciate that. And so it was just very hard for me to watch it, because like even from the very beginning, like all of a sudden like Jane Grey's father is dead, and I'm like, what? Because like Jane Grey's father is like the reason why she ends up getting beheaded in real life, because he ends up like leading a rebellion that like after she's deposed that makes Mary have to chop off her head. And I'm like, okay. And then there was a line in the first episode where she's like, I always thought I would be able to marry for love. And I'm like, why would you think that? It was just so cliche. It's like, not only because like I know so much about that time period, but I think it's just like, I wasn't seeing a character that I haven't already seen before in like 25 different fonts. And so like, I'll end my ramble to say like, it was agonizing, but I'm glad that people enjoyed it. I think it could have definitely deserved a second season, but it was definitely like really agonizing for me to watch.
I completely understand, and I feel like this is something that people have kind of gotten used to when it comes to historical dramas or like period dramas, that there is going to be there's going to be a level of inaccuracy, especially with the popularization of Bridgerton. The fact that it is very diverse in casting, because of course Shonda, and it's kind of like this alternative history. We're just like enjoying this very, liberal take on what was like back then, with like, a black queen and a white king. And, I like Bridgerton. I like Queen Charlotte a lot more. I enjoyed that little story. It's very cute to me. And I think for me personally, I find that it could be that showrunners or like streamers believe the audiences are, for lack of a better word, stupid.
Yeah.
It's the same reason why the Mean Girls movie had like that terrible music mixing, because they believe the audiences don't want to watch musicals. They think the audiences don't like to read. Audiences don't care about history. They don't want to do their research, and they just want something that is pop feminism and a little bit of history in there because they like the dresses, they like the castles, they like the setting, but not the actual context within that historical setting.
And that's exactly what this felt like to me. And it was like, wait, I'll let you finish, but yeah, like that's literally exactly how I felt about it, like the entire time. I was like,
yeah, and I feel like that is incorrect because there's a show called Wolf Hall on BBC that is, it's not exactly historically accurate, but it's about Henry VIII.
It's about Thomas Cromwell, the advisor to Henry VIII, through his reigns of like divorcing Catherine of Aragon to him divorcing Anne of Cleves.
And that show's pretty popular. That show's well reviewed, and people like that show. And I know that like a lot of times with other shows based on like historical accuracy, sometimes they're popular, sometimes they're not. But then there's another example I have, which I have no other example except Merlin, which is like, it's King Arthur and Merlin, which is also the tales of, you know, fantasy and fiction, but people really enjoyed that show. I really love that show. I still rewatch it sometimes.
Yeah, I have a Guinevere art piece on my wall. I do have a soft spot for Merlin.
Yeah. So I feel like there is an audience for historical accuracy, and there's an audience that wants to, you know, engage in period dramas and something that is based in like realism, fact, but showrunners, you know, streamers, executives, they're a little too scared to be a little too, you know, like nerdy about that. So they want to give a more like, you know, a little softer version, something a little more popular, something a little more fun. Yeah. And when I was watching the first episode and I saw her maid, I guess, or like her friend, yeah. When she turned into a falcon, I was like, oh. I'm not gonna lie, when I first tried to watch the show and I saw the maid turn into a falcon, then I was like, okay. And I immediately clicked off. I was like, I'm going to watch something else. That's
Not today, Satan.
I was like, okay, I could do alternative history. I can do like a young woman who's living in like a period drama in the past, 16th century England, being like, I want to marry for love. Girl, ain't nobody married for love at that time, but like, let's go with it.
Especially not you. Okay, so can I just get on the little soapbox really quick? The reason why this annoys me is because, like, okay, so Lady Jane Grey is the niece, is the great niece of Henry VIII, which means she's in the line of succession. And the generation before her, there was a niece of Henry VIII who tried to get married for love without permission, and she ended up getting totally fucked over. And so Henry made it a law that, like, no one who's related to the king can get married without the king's permission. So there was just absolutely no way she was going to choose who the fuck she was going to be with. So when she said that, I'm like, girl, don't you know that your cousin literally got fucked over, like, 3 weeks ago? Like, I was just truly, like, agog at just how, for the sake of hitting all of these plot beats, it made her story so generic. I was just like, the eagle, honestly, I was like, okay, girl, give us something. Give me something. And that came close.
And I know it's based off of a book, and I haven't read the novel, so I don't know how faithful it is, the adaptation of that. But you're right in saying that, like, it would be better if they just did a completely new story. You know, like, you don't have to base it in Lady Jane Grey, someone who is well-known in history, someone that people can, like, research and figure out that this show was completely inaccurate. And if you were to do something completely different, new character, you know, new setting, and just keep everything else the same, it probably still would have worked. And it's not that, like, the historical inaccuracies is what canceled the show, but at least, like, if it was an original story, not based on somebody that we know in history, people would have still liked it. And when I was watching My Lady Jane, I just couldn't help but think about the Apothecary Diaries. And
my favorite.
Yes. And that show, it's not historically accurate either, but it's a historical fiction. And there are parts of it that are grounded in terms of, like, you know, Chinese history. And so there are parts of it that are real and that could actually happen, but it's not based on anybody who is real. So
Exactly.
they could have done something similar to that. Not that people knew what the Apothecary Diaries was until season 2 came out, because that's when it got so popular. But it's like, I guess showrunners or executives, like I said before, they don't want to hedge their bets on something that's too risky. You know, like making a show that's historically accurate. What are we, a bunch of fucking nerds?
Yeah, that's kind of what happened. Like when Rain was coming out, even though I did end up liking that show, one of the things that Adeline Kane said was like we're not making a documentary. It needs to be fun. And I'm like, but like, and I respect that. Like I understand that's a point of view, but I also feel like then don't do it on a historical person. Excuse me. Like especially again, like. And this is not me trying to be like, oh, Lady Jane Grey, like, but like this is like someone who was a very serious, learned woman who died as like a religious martyr. Like this is like it's a serious person, and it just feels weird to have a situation where like you're gonna talk about her and use her to tell a story, but you don't include any of the things that were like important to why. She was like someone who got her head chopped off. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of my thing about it is like, I don't mind that it's different, but I do mind that it feels very much like girls don't care about history. So we're going to make sure there's some sex in it and that there's a romance because that's the only way women like history. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I do not like the idea that women are dumb and they cannot like to your point, like Wolf Hall is also written by a female writer. It was written by a female author. Like there is definitely room for both. But I really just vehemently dislike that whenever it's like a female targeted, like a young girl targeted thing, they're like, we have to girly pop it. No, only vibes, no seriousness at all. And I'm just like, I find that off-putting, honestly.
I think they also did that like with Jane Austen's books. Like they redesigned the covers.
Oh yes, make it, like... horrible! Oh my god, that gave me psychic damage. I was like, leave Jane alone, okay? Like my white woman, she doesn't need help to sell books. She don't need your help to sell her masterpieces. That's okay, you can't outdo the doer. I don't know why y'all trying it. That really vexed me in my spirit because who do you think you are?
And I get tired of this whole aesthetic over like substance. I don't know, push and pull that we keep seeing happening in media, whether it's in like in books, it's in television, it's in film. Oh, speaking of film, Wuthering Heights.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be like my fucking. That's gonna be a dark day on the timeline because I will be seeing it because I will have thoughts and I want to like I will see all of her movies if only to have the pure right to complain. But it is annoying. It is annoying that like you know, like they like, and I'm not anti-sex. I'm very pro-sex, but I do hate the juvenile way in which sexuality is treated in these situations. I'm like, we can take a narrative seriously. I think it's really like part of the reason why I think that Jane Austen doesn't get as much respect outside of just like people thinking that she's just generic romance is because people will do this thing where they will assume that because it's a romance, it has nothing else to say. And it's like, no, she's a very serious writer writing very serious things because romance is political. And like, so even with this show, it's like they're adding this politics. Like, I think my whole thing with this as well is that like, this is just their way of doing Catholics and Protestants without doing Catholics and Protestants. Because like that's like the actual like divide. It's not like people who can shapeshift and people who can't shapeshift. And I'm like, why are you afraid of politics? It's a historical drama. Like, why are you afraid of having something to say that's not kind of like a very vague, fantastical racism metaphor? Like, why are you afraid of having something to say? Especially when you're talking about female figures, whether you agree with them or not, who died because they had something to say. I think that's my big thing is like, as much as I understand why people like it, I just find that so deeply off-putting.
Yeah, it's frustrating, especially when it's media that is, targeted towards women. It's like, let's make this soft and poppy, and let's have pop music playing through it, and let's not have any hard arguments or any hard topics about anything at all. Like, let's make it all fun and jovial. And, like, you can have it be fun, but also talk about things that really do matter, because you're right, Catholics and Protestants was something that was a huge divide back in that time. But my huge pet peeve about the show, and this happens with a lot of new media, where like you have a very diverse cast, and somehow like the diversity, oh, we're all together, we're all good.
Yeah.
But the monsters, the furries, that's who we're after. That is the oppressed class. And it doesn't really make sense, because there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason why people are Ethians. There is no mythology behind how they turn into furry animals. There's no explanation as to why Dudley only becomes a horse at night, other than like it's possibly stunted emotionally, but we never really dig into that because we're too busy, worrying about all the other messy things that are happening within the show. And nothing is fully explained, and we're just like watching everything on a surface level. And when I was watching the show, of course I'm just enjoying it. I'm like tearing my brain off enjoying it. But at the same time I'm watching it, I'm just like, there is a black king who is being poisoned by his white sister, and the other black girl who's being silenced and sidelined and making you to feel like she will be hurt if she speaks against her white sister. And suddenly he's like, there's something going on here, but we're not discussing it because y'all are too busy being mad that someone turned into a goat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it was very awkward when they showed the siblings, and Mary's the only one who's not white, and she's also like the like over the top cartoon villain, and then it's like light skinned Elizabeth who doesn't have red hair but she has red dresses. It's like, okay, I got you. And then Edward is there, black as can be, and I'm just sitting here like, so what are you trying to say about this? You know what I mean? Like, you're not saying something when you're making like the primary antagonist this very white woman, and then like subjugating her black siblings, and then the rationale around it is like, oh yeah, your mom was secretly half of this and that. I'm like, that's really fucking weird. It's just weird, because like it's not like you have to make up the conflict.
That's true. Like nobody.
Like it's already in the fucking narrative. Like she doesn't like her siblings because literally he let their father left her mother to be with Elizabeth's mother, and then killed Elizabeth's mother to be with Edward's mother. That's why there's conflict. That's what, like, the gender issue is the conflict. The fact that they are adding all these fantastical elements to it, to me, is like a really odd way of trying to I think I'm going back to it again, like deep politicize something that is deeply inherently political and gendered. Because like, even in the fact that like, Edward was also very sexist, and he was also like a very militant Protestant, and the reason why he wanted Jane to follow him and not his sister Elizabeth, who was also like raised in the new religion, was because like he believed that his sisters were bastards and he didn't want to validate them. And Jane was also very militantly Protestant. Like, she was a very hardcore believer in Protestantism. She was very well learned, she was very well educated, and she was very much situated of like, you're gonna be the heir because you will carry on like the intensity of the faith that I'm setting up here, and I can't trust that my sisters will do it, but I know you can. Like, that's literally like the issue. And like, and I think knowing that, even giving it as much grace as I want to, it's like, as sad as it says, the fiction is not more interesting than the real life. I think that's kind of what I do too. Like, what happened to them in real life is much more interesting than what's happening on the screen. At least for me. Everyone will feel differently, but that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think that goes back to the point that we made earlier, that like, history is interesting and there is an audience there, but for some reason, like, a lot of executives or showrunners, they feel like, oh, people won't want to watch that, people won't want to be interested in that, people won't tune into that, which, I mean, audiences aren't that stupid. Audience aren't that disinterested in learning about history, or learning about the real lives of these people that, existed.
Mm-hmm.
even so many years ago. And even with the popularity of Bridgerton, you know, kind of giving us this like fictionalized version of this history, I think that there is a space where we can have the, you know, Lady Jane Grey story
Mm-hmm.
as it is, as it's told, and people will find interest in that. And My Lady Jane, not that it's terrible, but you know, it has its audience.
Yeah.
You know, it
I
definitely has
think
its crowd.
Yeah, I think it has its crowd. I think it has a lot of interesting things to do. Like I think it's a fun show.
Yes.
It's just not for me because I'm too enmeshed. Like I'm too enmeshed in it for it to, like if it was like a generic, like if they were gonna use magic to escalate it. But
Mm-hmm.
even like watch this, I'm like, this could have just easily been like another Merlin. You know what I mean? Like we're like, oh, magic is a thing that like they could have just done that. And I'd
Yeah.
have been like, fine, or like some other fictional medieval times. Because also, like, the outfits are so weird. Everyone's hair is outflowing. Everyone used to wear
Mm.
the white woman's bonnet, which is like, you know, the gabbled hood. Like everyone's hair is out in the winds, no protective coverings at all. And I'm just like, what is this? It's such generic design choices and like fashion choices and like they are all very attractive, but it's like you know, why isn't this on a CW? Because we don't invest in cable anymore. You know, like
Oh, CW. My gosh.
yeah, like this if this was on the CW, I'd have been like, okay.
You
But
know
I
what?
think yeah, I've been like, okay, like this is absolutely for but I felt like everyone was so horny for this show. I'm like, is it for teenagers? Is it like I don't know.
Mm.
What did you think? Do you think it's like is it a teen show? Would you describe it as like that?
I feel like, I mean, parts of it is a teen show. I'm not gonna lie. When you mentioned the CW, I was just thinking back to some of the scenes, and if they cut some of the, you know, some of the language and maybe some of the violence, it could do well in the CW. Like, I could see
Mm-hmm.
this getting like 2 or 3 seasons on there because I remember like the Carrie Diaries being on the
Mm-hmm.
CW, and of course Rain, and then you know like the Vampire Diaries and all their spin-offs. Like this show could do well, and it could have a strong teen audience as well. Because you're right, the show does feel juvenile at some points because it does feel like the show doesn't want to like make a statement on anything. It doesn't want to say anything about like one certain thing, like, oh yes, we should, you know, accept Ethians and we should all like come together, or you know, we should all like stop war. Like, yes, girl, we all agree with
Mm-hmm.
those things. Like those are very blanket statements, those are very easy things to say, but like it doesn't, you
Right.
don't have anything to say about like, you know, Edward telling you that like he's not going to stop, you know, that man from marrying you, even
Mm-hmm.
though like he could have protected her easily, and then Mary's coming in and she's gonna kill you. Like, I don't know. Even when I was watching the show and I was like trying to get into the plot, Jane makes a lot of decisions that are kind of stupid and very
Mm-hmm.
idealistic and very optimistic. And I was just watching and I was like, this is not realistic at all. Like, this doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. I don't know why you're going this way. But when I was watching the show, it's like, this definitely feels like something I would have watched when I was 16 years old. And I'd be like, Jane, girl, you my
Yeah.
girl for real. Like, this show did feel very like 14 plus. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. And again, I'd like that would be fine if it was like in that environment where we still had a separation of like teen drama TV versus like prestige. Because like when everything's on streaming, everything is prestige until you said otherwise. Because it's all
Mm-hmm.
a lot of money to do very little. And it's like the Buccaneers, like in some ways it feels like a teen show, but it doesn't advertise itself to be a teen show. Like it wants to be like whatever Bridgerton is, and Bridgerton is like not a teen show,
Yeah.
but it's like very much Gossip Girl in that era. So it's
Yeah.
like it's one of those kind of muddling things where like I'm glad I have an opinion on the show, um, but I would have never ever watched all of this unless it was for this podcast, and so you know well, now it's something to talk about, and that's great. But I definitely was like, okay, I'm putting this away now. I'm done.
I finished.
Thank you. I finished my vegetables.
I will say, after like reflecting on the show, I do think it served better as just a one season show
Mhm.
because everything feels pretty contained. Even though there are some things, there are some threads that still need to be wrapped up. even with like the ending that the show gave, it felt very much like what's the show movie, The Princess Bride? You know, where like they ride off into the sunset and you don't know what's next for them, but obviously they're gonna live happily ever after. It's like we don't really get to know what happens next with Dudley, because he gets
it's not great.
Like, we don't need to know what happens next with Dudley or Gein. You know, they love each other. He could turn to a horse whenever now. He has it under control. And, you know, Mary, I mean, she's ruling the kingdom because that's what she wanted. And Elizabeth, apparently, is also an Ethian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everyone's an Ethian now.
Everyone's a fucking bird. Everyone's a goat. Like,
and it's like, it's never like even a fun animal. It's just like, yeah,
I'm a dog.
I'm a dog. I'm like, okay, girl, you can keep that to yourself.
One guy who was the leader of the resistance, who was honestly very cute, and he was a bear. I was like, oh.
That's a good one. Because to me, I'm like, listen, we can't all be bears. Some of us and birds. Somebody has to be a wolf. Like, where are the wolves? That's what I was looking for. Like, where is the wolfies?
Oh God, not the wolves. But I do think that one thing I found interesting about the show was seeing how badly Dudley wanted a cure, you know, for his Ethianism, and then Gein finding out there is no cure, and he's just not accepting that. He's like, that can't be it. There's no way. And there's something about, you know, monsters in media where it's like, this is a metaphor. It's like, there's something in me that needs to change. There's something in me that's not right. There's something in me that I don't like about myself, and it's going to hurt me. I see other people with the same defect, and they're being oppressed. They're being thrown in jail. They're being hunted. I don't want to be hunted. So you need to fix this thing in me so that I'm not like this anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, Dudley's gay. Or like,
it was very mutants. It was very much, have you tried not being a mutant? Like the mutant cure. It's like, you don't need a cure. Nothing's wrong with you. And I'm like, guys, you turn into a horse, which considering the time period is pretty good. You know what I mean? Like in terms of transformations, that's like useful. Some of the best. That's some of the best you're going to get in this economy. So I would just, you know, be grateful and be grateful that you didn't end up a fucking cockatoo or whatever. Or a cricket. You know, you could have been literally a poop. You could, you know what I mean? Like you could have been so many other things. You're going to be okay. It's okay to be gay and also a wolf. Like it's fine. Be a horse.
But I do get tired of I don't know how to describe this exactly, but the fantastical oppression rather than focusing on like actual
just did a video
oppression.
about it. Yeah, I just did a video about this. Fantastical racism. It's like the most annoying. It's like, girl, get a job.
It's like we can focus on the real oppression that we face in our real life, and then the writer's like, no. What if they were animals?
Yeah, what if we didn't care about that shit?
What if there were fairy and fae that roamed the earth and one of them was an orc and he was a cop? Think about it.
Thought about that, huh? Yeah, it's very annoying.
It's annoying.
But it's annoying. Lazy. It's lazy. It's tacky.
Stupid.
It's stupid. It's all of the worst things.
It's like, let's solve racism, but not our racism, another racism.
Yeah, let's solve the racism that we can handle, which is like this stuff right here. I'm like, okay, I guess so.
And
whatever.
I roll my eyes because it feels like it turns racism into like, oh, it's a TV trope. You know, it's just another, you know, method of telling a story through. You know what I mean? Like, this is something that we can solve. Because if it's through, like, orcs and fairies, then we don't have to look too hard about our own behavior and how we're influenced by racism and our own anti-blackness and anything like that. Like, I don't have to look too deeply into that. I can look at how, like, I'm besties with an orc. And you know, we're friends. Like, oh, my boyfriend, he's a horse, and my mom found out. But guess what? I'm still married to him. I'm not gonna divorce him because I love him. Because I don't care that he, you know, turns into an animal. At dawn. Like,
of course, it's like, of course you don't, girl, because it's a horse. He's got a big dick. Like, I don't understand. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, we get it. I understand. This is not real. It's so. It was just one of those things where, like, I was like, girl, there are worse struggles. Like, please get up.
I did feel for Dudley when he was like begging Gein for that cure, because it is very reminiscent of like how like young kids feel when they find out like, oh, I'm gay, like I'm trans,
Right.
like this is something
This is
that's
my life
wrong in
now.
me. Yeah. Like this is something that I need to fix in me. And, you know, his performance is really great.
Yes.
It sucks that it's based in him not wanting to turn into a horse at like the crack of dawn. Like, that's the thing that sucks.
Yeah.
Like, he's giving it to us. He's giving it to us. And then, like, the sun comes up and it's just horses
Nothing.
and hay, you know?
Yeah, that's really the thing, is that like it could be good, but then unfortunately the plot is that he's afraid of being a horse, and it's like I only have but so much empathy to give for every viewing occurrence.
Yeah.
And I'm watching a lot of good anime right now, so like I just don't have it for him. I was like, I'm so sorry. I believe that your struggle is valid, you know. Horse lives matter. I can definitely say that. But I was very unmoved by like the whole thing. I think again, it's like, and I'm sorry to all the listeners that I'm being like, but the premise, the premise wasn't working for me. But it is what it is. If it worked for you, congratulations, and you enjoyed these episodes, and that's the real victory.
Yes, I mean, if you're someone who is listening to this and you're like, well, I like the show, like that's great.
Good, yeah. I mean, that's the goal. I think like when you critique a show and you don't like it, it's not fun because you have to watch the whole thing. And I definitely think that like there was room for improvement. Like I notoriously did not like the first season of Harley Quinn, but it definitely got a lot better. And I still think I was right because I rewatched that season. I'm like, nope, still hated it. Live your truth. Okay. Yes. You don't have to like what everyone else likes. If you like it, love it. That's all that matters.
Yeah. And that's the thing that sucks about television now is that you have to get it right on the first try. Because if you don't, then you're not going to get another chance. And even if you do get it right in the first try and people do like the show and they resonate with it, you can still get canceled. Because that's just the nature that we're living in with streaming. Because so many new shows come out every single month, year, day, and you're all competing for the top spot on Netflix's like top list or the Nielsen top ratings. And even if you get on that list, even if you do well, you could still end up on the chopping block. And it sucks because with, you know, shows like The Office or like Parks and Rec, like their first seasons weren't that great, but
not that good at all.
No, but you have to wait for it to like gain momentum. You have to wait for it to get a little better. Like for me, I like Parks and Rec after season 2. I thought that was good because the characters are established. We know who Leslie Knope is, and the show got a lot better. Some people like it after, what's his name? Ben?
Oh yeah, when Wyatt comes.
Adam Scott.
Scott comes, yes.
When Adam Scott joined the cast, and also when Rob Lowe joined as well. Like, their two characters.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. People liked
him. Mm-hmm.
People loved it when those two characters joined. And I agree, like, when the two of them joined, obviously having, like, some kind of, like, antagonist, like a strong antagonist in the show, rather than that guy who was dating both Leslie and Pam.
Oh my God, like, that was the most. That first season is like a nightmare.
Yeah, that
I'm so glad we all woke up from collectively and we're like, not you, girl, not you, Seamus.
Elected official. Why are you worried about this man? He is a scrub.
Stand up, Leslie. Stand up.
Love
my
yourself,
God, truly treat yourself. 2000. Yeah. You don't have to live like this, girl.
Yes. And I feel like with Lady Gein, would it have gotten better with season 2? I don't know, because I feel like with season 1, already knowing the culture of streaming, so much was in season 1, and it felt really like oversaturated. And there were so many things happening in the 8 episodes that we were watching. Like, at one point, it went from My Lady Gein to Queen Gein, and I was like, oh, we jumping the gun first season. Like, this is a season 3 development, and now it's happening episode 4. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They're like, she only got 9 days. Like, who made that happen? You said it. That was your conceit.
Yes. And it's just the culture of television now. And it sucks. It's not great, but that's just where we're at. And My Lady Gein is just one of the many shows that have come out that, you know, people liked, people didn't like, resonated with some, it resonated with other people. And unfortunately, it only got a month to show its worth. And then Amazon was like, nah. You're out the door. You're done. That's
the saddest thing for me, because, like, did I love the show? No. But I think when you have a show that was doing that well, it just really sucks that it was not given the time to find its like it found its audience. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and this is kind of the issue of like why I do always like miss cable, because there is something about having a time slot where you go
Yeah.
and watch something that really tells you engagement more than what we're doing right now. And I think it's just really important that if you care about something and you really are invested in it, to support it when you can, if you can. Because like our eyes are our money. Like that is something that's one of the few things that we can really be like, yeah, I'm invested in this thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I've been playing Hades 2 nonstop. They need to know that I'm here.
Yeah, and it's another marker with another TV show on Amazon Prime of like how much TV culture has changed is with, I think the show's called Étoile or Étoile.
Étoile.
Étoile, yeah. It was a new ballerina show, I think, from like Amy Sherman.
Oh,
Palladino.
the Amy Sherman Palladino show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch that because I love Gilmore Girls, but that woman makes me crazy. But did yeah, that show kind of just flopped nowhere.
Yeah.
She needs to stop. She needs to stop making shows about ballet. She didn't learn from Bunheads.
Oh my god, Bunheads was so good.
Me and my ex-girlfriend, we was eating up Bunheads.
I think it had 2 seasons.
It got 2 seasons,
Yeah.
and then it was very much canceled. And then you know we had Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which gave us one of the best Lois Lanes of all time, and now we're back here.
For 5 seasons.
Yes, that went on for 5 seasons.
Yeah. It's kind of crazy because like Amy Sherman Palladino, the creator of Gilmore Girls, which is a show that people famously love, rewatch, even like the cast members who are on the show, they still talk about the show in their interviews. They still promote that show and like as if they do. I think Matt, I don't say his last name, but he was on the show. He's Rory's ex-girlfriend, and then Jerry Padalecki, he was also on the show. They did an ad for Panera.
Yes, I loved it so much. I was obsessed. I texted all my friends. I was like, girl, fall is here. Like, listen, the only time I am my most white woman is when it is fall time. Yes. I'm ready for the Gilmore Girls rewatches. I'm doing all of it. I don't care. That's my one vice. No, not one vice, but it's a really strong one. I love that shit so fucking much.
Yeah. And it's crazy to see like Gilmore Girls, the show that she first created, it's still something that's so popular. People are talking about it, that the actors who are in it and have done other projects are still talking about that show they were on so many years ago. And she's made other shows since then. Like Miss Marvelous Maisel, it came out right when streaming was getting a little more popular, which is why it went on for so long. And it did so well. And now with Étoile, like, it just came out, I think recently this summer, but it was canceled pretty quickly after, which I find to be odd because you can see that people are enjoying the works of Amy Sherman Palladino. Like, all her shows are kind of the same. You know, white woman lead, fast talking, very smart, very educated, quips here and there, very witty. It's funny. Like, it's enjoyable. Like, you can watch it, you can like it. But it's odd to see, you know, Amazon Prime being like, oh, this show isn't working for us. Let's just throw it away. Like, did she not just give you one of your most popular, most well-known, most liked shows, like most like acclaimed shows?
I know. Yeah, it's interesting how quickly it changes that even having done that and really did the whole industry darling bit, it still didn't mean that they got renewed or anything like that. It really is the end of an era of television really being able to like know what's going to come and what's not. But yeah, it's a mess.
It is a mess. And I actually saw on Netflix that a show that was on Paramount, Halo, it was on Paramount, it went on Netflix, and then it's like done very well. You know, I don't know how I feel about like shows that like kind of die away on other platforms, finding a new life on a different platform. You know what I mean? Like, even if like there's more viewership and like more people are watching it, maybe it gets like another season, like that's great. But at the same time, it's like we couldn't find this audience when it was on the platform that was originally put on. Like, y'all could have put a little more work, a little more effort into like get people to watch the show. Like, you spent all this money making? No? Like, what's going on here? But
yeah,
I digress. My Lady Jade, 8 episodes on Amazon Prime. Princess, do you have any last thoughts about My Lady Jane?
Beautiful gowns.
Yep.
Everyone looked great. And
Yes.
if you found this and this gives you an entry point into want to learn more about the Tudor history, then that's a win. A win is a win.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I do want to say, as much as I enjoyed the show, I liked the show, my favorite part, honestly, was the slow burn, because I feel like romance is a dying genre.
Mm-hmm.
There are not enough romance films, not enough romance shows, and if there are out, they're not that good. I'm just going to be honest. And I feel like My Lady Jane, with all the other things that were not that great, the romance of the show was good.
Good yearning.
Yes. Great yearning. I'm a sucker for enemies to lovers, and this one felt like a real enemies to lovers. I'm glad that they took their time. They did not jump the gun with the, any kind of intimacy. I'm glad that we were, keeping the pacing, so to speak. So I really enjoyed that. And watching the show and seeing the slow burn, I was like, oh my gosh, I have to get back into writing.
I know.
I need to get back into that Word document. Like, this has inspired me a little bit, But
right. Good.
I will say the next show that comes out that is period drama, it's giving diversity, it's giving pop feminism. I am going to leave that alone. I'm going to leave that for the audience that it's meant for.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's not for me. I even tried to watch the last season of Bridgerton because I was like, Nicola is finally getting her moment. She is finally getting her time.
And I do love her. But it's very hard. That last season was very bad too. Oh man. Long.
I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching season 1 and it got to like that episode, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I see. I see, Shanta. Like, we can change the races of the characters, but we can't change the story, the plot. We couldn't.
She said, no, we're still gonna, and is gonna justify it anyway. And I'm like, okay, cool. Thank you. Thanks for that. Didn't know I needed that trauma.
I'm not gonna lie. A lot of things about Bridgerton I would change. That scene I would definitely change just so we could keep John Renee Page on that show. Because I did love him and his bestie, that boxer. Like the two of them.
Oh, he's very handsome.
Yes.
Yeah. Wanted more for them, honestly.
Yeah. Like, now every time Daphne comes around the ton, she's like, oh yeah, my husband, he's at home with the baby.
Like, sure.
It's like, girl, he is not at home. He is filming in England for a Guy Ritchie movie, okay?
Literally. He's doing other things.
He's gone.
We lost him. We baddie down.
You know what? It's fine. It's okay. But guys, that was our, take. That was our review on My Lady Jane. So we're going to go ahead and go into our last segment, which is Watchlist, where we talk about some movies and TV shows that we're excited to see that are coming out soon, or maybe some things that are already out that we're planning on seeing. One thing that's on my list is One Battle After Another, because I'm dodging these spoilers like crazy.
I know. It's like the discourse is happening, and I'm like, okay, girl, can I get a second?
Slow down, guys, slow down. Okay, Monica hasn't gotten paid yet. She can't go see the movie yet. I'm not bootlegging this movie. I will see it in theaters, because the one thing I hate is when you're working and you're like, I'll go see this movie when I get my money, and then you get it, and then suddenly it's on BOD, it's on Apple TV, it's on HBO
everywhere.
Max. And where it
everywhere.
is an AMC.
Exactly.
I want to sit in a recliner and watch it and possibly fall asleep in the middle of the movie. But,
absolutely.
I want to see it in theaters. There's nothing wrong with watching movies, like, streaming. Like, I know some people rather watch movies at home. That's okay. But, like, I want to see a movie on the biggest screen possible. Okay?
Yeah. So, I'm the same way. I need to be able to pay attention fully. I need to be seated and sat.
Yeah, I can't watch movies in my house sometimes because I'll pause the movie and I'll start talking to myself and I'll be like, oh yeah, the movie, that's going. Like, I need it to play continuously. Like, force me to sit through the uncomfortable spots.
Right.
Yes. So, One Battle After Another, this movie I am excited to watch. Also excited to watch The Baltimoreans, which is a comedy that came out. I just see a lot of people talking about it, but I just saw it on my AMC app and they recommended it to me because I liked The Holdovers And I was like, okay, I'll check this out. Hopefully it's still out. I'm pretty sure it's like an independent film. So usually like in my area, whenever an independent film comes out, like AMC will have it out for like a week. And then for the next 2 weeks, you can only see it in the morning. And then like next thing you know, it's only showing at one theater that's 30 miles away from me. So
oh no.
I need to hurry up and go see it because I have to watch it. And question, I don't know if you can answer this question. Paul Thomas Anderson released 2 films this year, right?
Did he?
I think he did, because I saw that One Battle After Another was out, but I think he also released another film.
Let me check. I always have Wikipedia very close to me at all times. No. I think Wes Anderson is who you're thinking of.
Okay, yes.
Because I confuse those 2 white men as well all the time. So
they're brothers, right?
No, not. They're just both Andersons.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I always thought they were brothers. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's Wes Anderson, and then but they're not related. They just have similar last names.
What movies did Wes Anderson release this year?
He just did that the Phoenician Scheme.
Yes, the Phoenicians. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That movie.
That's what you're those Andersons.
Yeah.
You're not crazy. You're like, I swear Anderson released something this year, girl. Yes. It's the other one.
It's the other one, of course. Yes. And let's see, what else am I excited? There's some anime that I'm excited to watch. There is an anime, I never know how to say the name. It's Gachi Katura or something like that. It's an anime about a boy who gets expelled into a trash heap.
Oh,
because
God.
That's where they put all the criminals in this society. And he starts living in the trash heap. It turns out it's a whole society of people that,
of course,
that have like special powers, and he's one of them. And what got me to watch the show was that one of the episodes had like a transition to a scene with New Orleans music,
like
playing.
Interview with a Vampire energy.
And people were like, "Is that Big Frida?" on it, and I started rewatching the clip over and over again. And I was like, "That's what's going to get me to watch this show."
Yeah, you're like, let me listen
closely. Let me listen
exactly.
closely.
Let me get closer to the scene of the crime. You're like, I gotta.
New Orleans house music. It will get me. It will get me every time, because whenever
that's a good one.
An anime that has some kind of black influence or black character, I'm in there.
Yeah, it's like this show is for me now. It's like when Carol and Tuesday was out, my everyone's like, "Have you watched Carol and Tuesday?" Like, I get it. I'm black. She's black. But no, I have not seen Carol and Tuesday. Please stop asking me.
Yeah. Yes.
But then I did watch it eventually, and it was good. But I was just like, I get it, guys. You're excited that there's a black woman on TV. Me too.
Me too. Yes, of course. So I think those are all the things that are on my watch list, unless I think of something else.
Nice.
Is there anything that you're watching right now, or anything you're excited to watch?
Well, I just finished watching the Demon Slayer movie. I am also looking forward to One Battle After Another, and finally watching The Long Walk, because I love Stephen King. So I'm excited to see that. And it's also like one of his fucked up books, because it's like, it's from his Richard era, and that's always a little bit weirder stuff. So that's what I'm excited to too. And also it's Halloween spooky season, so there's just so much stuff to enjoy. So I'm just excited about that in general.
Yes, I have to say I did watch The Long Walk, and it was very good.
Yay!
It was so great. The only thing, well, this is not has to do with the movie, but when I left the movie, there's this lady selling her artwork. You know how sometimes someone approaches you, just like when you're out in public, and like you don't know whether to run away or just be nice.
Oh yeah,
I should have
very often. Away. Oh no, she tried to give you her wares like a little witch.
Like, she showed me her artwork. I was like, oh, this is interesting. It was very odd. But I was like, oh, this is interesting. And there was a guy that was with her. I guess it was like her dad or something. I don't know. But he came up and he started talking about conspiracy theories and stuff like that. And I was like, ooh. You know what I mean? I was like,
run away. Run away.
That's when I put a timer on my phone, and I set the timer for like my ringtone. And it's like, oh, sorry, my mom was calling me. I have curfew, even though I'm 27 years old.
Like, I know. Mom, listen, I will use my mom. Like, my mom needs me to come home.
Yes. My mom's waiting for me. Sorry, I gotta go.
I have to go. I'm having a panic attack. My the one time I did it, like, oh my God, I had to get my appendix taken out. I had to do that shit. But it felt right to say at the moment.
Okay.
It felt correct, but it was not actually true.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. I would never do that to anyone listening because, emergencies really do happen. But there's been one time I was like, oh, my appendix is hurting. I never got my appendix taken out. Maybe that's what it is. Always use that one. They don't know.
That's such a random thing. Like, someone's like, oh, my appendix needs to be taken out. It's like, oh, at this very second? Like,
yep. It's empirical that I do it right now.
Not empirical.
It's like I need it right now.
You mean imperative?
Oh yeah, imperative. Yes, I say empirical. Damn,
girl, what math?
Who taught me math? Nobody. I've never known math in my life ever. No, but absolutely, like, it's been a fun time. So I'm so glad we get to talk about this. Finally, I appreciate you.
No problem. And I did want to add to my watch list, there is an anime coming out called May I Ask You for One Thing? And it's about this girl. She's basically has all these suitors coming after her. And her fiance has been bullying her for a long time. So she wants to call off the engagement. And before that can happen, she wants to give a beat down to her fiance and all his family. Like, everybody's going to get this beat down.
Everyone can get these hands.
Yes. And I just saw that it popped up on my email because I had a Google alert for it. So I was like, yes, I'm ready for this. I'm excited for it. May I ask for one thing? And then I also am watching this dongwa called Lord of Mysteries.
I just started that. It's very dense.
It's very good.
It's good. It's very dense. I'm on episode, I think, 8 or 9 or whatever. Yeah. And I was just like, this is good. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I'm still going to keep vibing with it.
Yeah. When I was first watching it, I had more questions than answers.
Yeah.
When I was getting into it.
Everyone tells me is like, oh, that's the way it is. You'll figure it out as you go. And I'm like, all right. I'm not gonna make myself crazy. I'm just gonna believe you.
I'm not gonna lie. As someone who loves Apothecary Diaries, I'm not someone who figures it out as you go. Because I binge watch things, but I feel like I'm not paying attention. So by the time I got to season 2 and we found out about that girl with the purple hair, I was like, wait a minute. She's not.
I know.
I had to rewatch the episode and then watch it back.
I know.
Like, oh no, I gotta rewatch season 1 again because now I feel like I don't know what's going on.
I was like, "Not she's sweet." It was very, very good. Man, that friggin' season, and also like the editors on TikTok who do all of the like
the fan edits,
the fan edits, the new version of AMVs. Yes. They are cooking so well. I saw someone do a thing with her of like no good deed goes unpunished with C-Suite, and I was like, wow. You would have to slap the shit out of me. Like, I'm a good person. Like, you'll have to be right here slapping the shit out of me. It was a lot, but it was very good.
Yes. So that is it for our watch list. Princess, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today. Where can people find you if they want to find your internet somewhere?
Thank you so much. This was super awesome. You guys can find me on YouTube as Princess Weeks. I'm also Princess Weeks on Blue Sky with 1 S. Instead of 2. That was a typo, but I kept it. And then I'm also on TikTok under Princess Pendulum, where I will talk about weird shit from time to time because, why not? It's my house and I live here. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'm sorry I complained about the show so much.
Girl, most podcasts that talk about movies and TV shows, it's just complaining.
Yeah, but you know what? It's like I'm always conscious of like, is it gonna be a good time? But I think we made it a good time. I think we made it work. Yeah, we balanced it out.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like sometimes when I do like my critic reviews, I'm like, is this too mean? Is this too harsh? But then I read something for variety, and they're like kissing this director's ass, and I'm like, you know what? I can go harder.
Yeah, it's like actually I'm gonna be meaner now because I see what's happening here and I don't approve of it.
Yeah, like I can tell you how I really feel because I don't need to hold anything back. What do I gotta lose? you know?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. You can find Princess Weeks, like she said, on Blue Sky, on TikTok, on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe to her channel. And you can find us where you listen to podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Check us out on YouTube and on Patreon as well. And feel free to follow us on all our social media handles on Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky. And don't forget to tell your friends and family about your new favorite podcast. I've been meaning to watch that. I'm your host, Monica, and I'll see you again next week with a new topic and a new guest like we do every single week. Bye.
Bye.